Good afternoon, guys. Just working, bringing you a quick update on Ethereum. Hope you guys are having a wonderful afternoon. We're looking at Ethereum to the US dollar on the one-day chart, Coinbase, guys, and we'll start with kind of a bigger picture. We can see Ethereum is operating within this larger wedge, creating a series of lower highs, higher lows, um, and as it's approaching the apex, which we're about 1 week away from it reaching the apex of this wedge, guys, typically you would expect to see price end up breaking out in one direction or another. We can see that volume is slowly declining as well. That's also indicative. It also happens oftentimes before you see a breakout in one direction or another. If price does break down, guys, we're going to be watching to make sure to see if it breaks this prior low. Prior low back in, looks like August, or excuse me, not August, April. This prior low was sitting at around somewhere around 360. So if we do end up breaking that prior low, it's a very, very bearish sign, guys. But if we do end up breaking to the upside, guys, obviously very bullish. Oftentimes when you break out of this wedge, it becomes very impulsive. So we'll wait and see if we get confirmation on volume. If we get an impulsive break with confirmation on volume, guys, might be a good buy signal if we break above this wedge. But I would wait to have that confirmation on volume. Without the volume confirmation, I would not be buying, guys, because this is, just because it breaks above the wedge does not mean it's a buy signal. Volume confirmation, breaking above the wedge, and what I would also be looking for, if I zoom in here, guys, is this supply zone between 470, 485. That's an extremely important zone. Price may break up, bear trap, or excuse me, bull trap everyone just to break right back down, guys. That's very, very possible. So we need to see price break up. If it breaks this supply zone, maybe start dollar cost averaging. The next area I'd be looking at is this prior high here, sitting at about 515. If we can get above 515, at that point I'll start to get excited, guys. But before then, not so much. If we end up breaking to the downside, we do have some support sitting in this demand zone between 378 and 363. So price might break down, hit this demand zone, break right back up. That's also a very, very possible scenario. Again, guys, we have to wait and see how this ends up playing out, guys. If this demand zone doesn't hold, if we break below 363 decisively, I think we may drop down initially, find some support at 340. That's a very, very plausible scenario where we find some support at 340, but I don't think that's going to hold. I don't think it's a very strong support. It might come down, hit it, to pause for a minute, and then end up breaking down to the stronger support between about 310 and 295. And that's a very strong support zone. I do expect that zone to hold if it does break down that low. I'm not saying it's going to, but if it does break down that low, if we take out this prior low, then I think more than likely it is going to break down to about at least 310, 295, somewhere in that zone. And in my opinion, that would be a must-buy zone. If it does get down there, and I'm not saying it's going to, guys, but if it does, that's a must-buy in my opinion. Now, trade setups that I might be looking for, if price breaks down, I might have some buy orders stacked in here, sitting at between about 370, 360, or excuse me, about between 370 and 30 between 375 and 365. I can't talk, guys. I apologize. It's been a long day. Between 375 and 365, might ladder in buys between that zone and have a very, very tight stop loss sitting right around probably 355 to 360, somewhere thereabouts. I'd ladder in, ladder out at those zones. If price does hit this zone and impulse right back up, guys, I'd get out of that trade very, very quickly. I'd probably only be targeting about, depending, if you want to be conservative, I'd target 400. If you want to be a little more liberal, I'd target about 420. Somewhere thereabouts, guys. So possibly come up, hit 400, take your investment off the table, and then let the profits ride up to about 420. That'd be a logical play, in my opinion. A logical plan, I should say, in my opinion. To the upside, if price breaks up, as I said, we may hit this supply zone, trap everybody high, and then come right back down. Again, I'm going to be looking for a breakout with volume to confirm. Okay. So if I'm a bear, though, guys, if I'm a bear, I'm looking at this a little bit differently. If I'm a bear, I'm looking at this as, let me just kind of zoom in here. If I'm a bear, I'm looking at this, and there's a lot of structure from a bearish point of view. We've easily got a nice 1, 2, impulsive 3, 4, down for the 5. Okay. And there's a lot of structure within those 5 waves, a perfect 5 waves. And then we've got a perfect A, B, C correction as well, guys. I mean, this is, I hate to say it, but it's very, very technical. If we also look at this from a bearish point of view and we pull swing high, swing low, where is that swing low? There it is. Swing high, swing low. What happened? The body of this correction hit perfectly off the 236. Now it wicked right past the 236, which is very, very common to see a wick go past, but the body hit perfectly on the 236. The fact that it couldn't retrace any higher than the 236 fib level, guys, is very, very, very bearish. Tells you that the bears are still in control of this market, guys. And the fact that we came back up, we tested this resistance, or this descending resistance line, and immediately got rejected all the way back down to this ascending support. Very, very bearish, guys. And we're just not seeing any volume to follow through. So right now it does look like the bears are in control. Right now it does look like we are starting, where is it? There we go. It does look like that we are starting, a 1, 2, possible 3, maybe 4, and then down for the 5. That's possible. I'm not saying that's going to happen. I'm just saying we need to be vigilant. We need to look at this from not just a bullish point of view, but from a bearish point of view, and take both sides into account. Now, I'm a bull at heart, so my bias is a bull. So I always want everything to be bullish. So I have to know my bias and then look at it from both points of view if I'm going to be realistic and profitable. My gut wants me, everything, I want this price to just take off, but that's not realistic. So anyway, guys, so that's the kind of the two zones I'm looking for. If I come in here, look at my moving averages, we can see that price, this is on the daily, see prices coming down, tested the outer Bollinger Bands on the daily chart, and it's just kind of sitting there hovering around the outer bands. I can see price coming down. As I said, the outer Bollinger Band coincides nicely with the bottom of this ascending support, so we might come down, hit this support, impulse back up. That'd be the most bullish scenario in my opinion. We can see our moving averages are starting to converge. They did start to converge right here. Price broke down, so they're starting to fan out just a little bit. We'll see if that ends up trending that way or not. But right now, things are just not looking great. If we look at the 4 hour, there we go. Looking at the 4 hour, guys, we can see the Bollinger Bands are starting to bottleneck a little bit again. We can see that our 8-day moving essential moving or exponential moving average there in blue and the 21 EMA there in yellow are starting to converge on top of each other. It's also a sign that price is going to make a larger move here very, very soon. We'll have to wait and see how that ends up playing out as well, guys. But as of right now, just things aren't looking great. If we come in here and we check our check longs, this is on the 4 hour. We can see longs a lot of them got liquidated and are just kind of moving sideways. And I think a lot of people are waiting to see what happens in the market, which is smart. Don't want to enter any trades. You want to make sure you get confirmation and then enter trades. If we look at our short positions, we can see short positions. A lot of them probably took their profits and now are just kind of sitting here, also waiting to see what happens. And I guarantee you guys, they're all looking at this, the apex of this wedge, waiting to see what's going to happen, waiting to see if we're going to get an impulse out of this or if we're just going to break down. I guarantee. And a lot of people, they've got they're looking to see price break up to short from this level, possibly maybe even if the price ends up breaking down, possibly if it breaks below the demand, possibly short from the bottom of this demand zone all the way down to about 310 at least. From an upside, they've got buy orders stacked in this demand zone, hoping to get down, catch a bounce, and then come right back up. Whatever you decide to do, if you decide to do anything, make sure you keep your stop losses tight because we have no real confirmation of anything at this point, guys. So we'll just have to wait and see how this goes. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap it there. If you have any comments, questions, suggestions, please let me know in the comment section below. And until next time, guys, please trade safe. This is Working, signing out.